A lot of people have asked me this question: how did I got into Google? What was my career transition like? The Google interview process, and questions around why do I do the YouTube and all the community work that I do. What drives me and what are the motivations factors behind that. To answer all those questions, I have recently recorded a podcast with 𝗩𝗏𝗔𝗣𝗧. So have a look at this podcast. So he was kind enough to provide me the recording copy of that. I'm publishing this video to cover all those questions, and I'm sure it will be helpful. So have a look at that and feel free to provide your feedback.
Hello, welcome and namaste. Today, our guest is Piyush Bhai. Piyush Bhai worked in Google for last 2 years. He lives in Canada. He's working in Google as a technical solution developer and take care of cloud and anything related to cloud for their customer. Piyush Bhai and I know for almost a year now through Twitter, and on the side, Piyush has a YouTube channel where he teach about anything in technology, how you can build your career. He talk about general topic as well as go deep dive into cloud, and currently he's doing a series on Azure. So you have, if you have not checked his YouTube channel, it's a must. He has about 18,500 subscriber as of today, and everything that he shares all free for you to consume. So with that, first, thank you so much, Piyush bhai, to come on my podcast and also to do everything that you're doing for the community and helping all the developers build their career. With that, I wanted to hand over mic to you to ask you, what is your role at Google and how is your typical day and week look like?
First of all, thank you so much, Vinodji, for inviting me to this podcast and giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my views with the audience. And I'm really over like a person like you inviting me and giving me this opportunity. So thank you so much. To start with my current role at Google, so I am working as a technical solutions developer at Google, where I help Google Cloud customer in building their technical solutions, helping any issues they have related to their cloud implementation. If we talk about specific services that I work on or that I have expertise with, it would be Google Kubernetes Engine, GKE, and Anthos. And that's my primary specialization. And my secondary specialization is DevOps tools, cloud build, cloud deploy, anything related to cloud, plus observability like cloud logging, cloud monitoring, alerting, and so on. So these are the services that I mostly work with, and I help, as I said, I help Google Cloud customers in solving their issues, in helping them out if they are stuck somewhere, and in basically showing them a path how they can make better utilization of cloud. So that's what I do.
Thank you. And how is a typical day or a week look like?
Yeah. So day starts with like anyone else does in their role. Like first they go log in and they check their emails and reply the previous emails and so on. Then my day starts with I'm in a queue where wherever there is a new incident raised, I am one of those person who get that incident assigned to, irrespective of the customer, irrespective of the customer reputation or how big the customer is. It could be a P1, P2, P3, P4. So I get assigned to that incident and I'll start working on it. So if required, if that is a P1 or if it is a high priority issue, I offer them a call. I go on the issue with them, like what exactly is it that you are facing. I capture all the details, like all the required logs, their project details, their cluster details, and whatever it is there for me to ask. So I get all the questions answered and then I start working on it, because I would have some level of access in customer's environment, the read only access. So I would have all the access to troubleshoot the issue. So I take some time and I start working on it. And then I communicate back to the customer if I have more questions or if I have a solution, a workaround or mitigation steps, and so on. So that's what I do on a daily basis. But in Google, we have a concept of, 20% rule. So when you work on a project, so that is your 80%, and optionally you can dedicate 20% of your time to something that you love, something that you want to participate in, something that you volunteer for it. So those 20% projects are mostly short term projects, and we can keep switching from one project to another. And so I have done a lot of 20% projects, such as I created a YouTube video for Google Cloud official channel. It was on Anthos, GKN and Anthos. It was a short video, like 5 6 minute video, but because it is very structured, you interact with Google Cloud and YouTube's official team. So it
Hmm.
has a very rigorous process of review, like it has technical review, editorial review, and lots of other reviews. So it took me months to publish that 5 minute video, even though I had the background of recording and publishing everything on my YouTube channel. And usually it takes me 3 to 4 days to publish a 1 hour video. Like, start from research, recording, editing, everything, if I do everything on my own. But that
Uh-huh.
5 minute video took me months because of the process that they have implemented. And I learned a lot of things in that journey, how a professional video should look like. That was really a learning for me. There are some other projects that I'm working on, and I am part of also a DevRel project where I help Google Cloud customers that are startups or that are planning to move into Google Cloud. So it's
Hmm.
mostly related to organizing events with them, giving them hands-on workshop, and a few other things. So these are a few other responsibilities. Apart from that, I do participate time to time in updating documentation on official Google website or internal documentation, and anything that could add some value to the internal team as well as the outside community, whoever is accessing Google Cloud or Google in general. Those are the few main things, and we usually focus on these things as part of our day to day life. But we do have different opportunities to participate in some, let's say I have a phone, Google Pixel 7 Pro. I got it when it was not even released, because I was
Uh-huh.
part of one of the beta testing team. I was using it a year ago before it was launched, and then reporting all the bugs, all the feature requests that it should have back to the developer teams and providing them logs and details that they want. All in all, it is a power pack day that we have. And even though, if mostly what happens is when you work on something, usually you don't like it, but then with Google, it's not the case, because you will have so many opportunities to participate in another or participate in other ongoing initiatives, and you could give your best in that without worrying about that you don't like it, or if you don't want to do it for the future, right? So yeah, that's mainly what I do.
That's amazing. There are so many things that people were desperate to get into that kind of situation, especially access to different people at Google, whether it is YouTube or cloud or DevOps. How does it feel like? I'm sure you feel so empowered that you can just reach out to different people there and ask any question.
Correct.
How
Like,
does it feel?
people are so helpful. Like, I'm not bragging something, but it is something that I have felt in my entire career of 12 plus years. I have never worked with a company where people are offering
Mhm.
help without even asking. So I am lucky to be part of one such team. Everyone is there to help you out, whether you ask it or not. If someone feels like you need help or you might need help in the future, they will reach out to you and they will just say, hey, let me know if you need any help, or we can get into the call, and we can try to sort this out together. So it feels really great. It's an amazing experience, and not just within my team. If I reach out to any other team, let's say I have some doubt to any of the AI tools that are there. We have Gemini, which was a rebranded version of Bard, or any other team. If I have some specific question, they would definitely help me out. If that is not something confidential or something that they shouldn't share, they will definitely help me out with that. It's really a great experience. Yeah.
And you had your YouTube channel prior to joining Google, right?
Yes. Correct. Yeah. Please
As
go
you're
ahead.
now in Google and you have access to all different people, I'm assuming YouTube people as well. So, did you, was that, or how do I ask this? Having access to them, did that help in your YouTube?
No, because Google has a strict policy of what information we can share and what information is accessible even to Google employees.
Hmm.
So if I were part of YouTube, like the YouTube product team in any way possible, then I wouldn't be even having my YouTube channel. So there is a
Oh,
strict policy for that. And I cannot access any resource that could help me grow my channel or that could help me unethically. So those are information is restricted to YouTube team itself. And as I said, I wouldn't be even running my YouTube channel if I were part of YouTube product team or any other
um,
team associated with YouTube.
so you spend a lot of time in creating those videos. You said 3 to 4 days just to make 1 hour video, even though you have a video editor, right? I know you have a video editor.
Yep.
So that 3 to 4 days is not including the time it takes to edit the video.
So I recently had the video editor. I was doing it by myself till now.
Okay. Okay.
And sometimes if I'm recording something and I'm publishing 2, 3 videos per week, like last week I published 2 videos and my
Yeah.
video editor was on leave at that time. So I edited both the videos myself because I don't want to delay the publishing process. People are expecting me to publish the video. So, I cannot keep them waiting. So that's why I do it myself whenever there is a need or whenever my video editor is
Mhm.
overwhelmed with a lot of other pending backlog videos. So yeah, that's what I mean. And 3 to 4 days, I was not saying like 3 to 4 days of 1 hour or 2 hour per days. I'm saying like 6, 7 hours per day and doing that for 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
Because recording a 1 hour video, first I do a research, rigorous research on that. I do the hands-on by myself, and it takes me around 6 to 7 hours or even more than that sometimes. And then I record it. And while recording it, I faced some issues that I did not face earlier. So I had to fix those issues while I'm recording. And then I give it back to my editor, or if I do myself, if I'm publishing a video of 1 hour and it would be like more than 1.5 hours or something, then
Hmm.
he has to make all the cuts, he has to make
Right.
all the corrections in that, and then we are ready to publish it. But for publishing, sometimes there is a GitHub repository associated with that, so I have to maintain that as well. Sometimes we create blogs out of it. So there
Hmm.
are a lot of other things as well that goes post publishing as well. So yeah, it is a lot of effort, and you might know it, you've been doing it for a long time. So yes, it is definitely something.
Yes, I know. And then initially, I spend more time, like up to a week, just editing my podcast video. And
Yes.
initially, I did not even like my voice. So it was crazy. So, my question to you, where does that energy come from? What drives you to do all these YouTube videos?
So what drives me is, first of all, I like doing what I'm doing. I am really passionate about, because after a long time when I started the YouTube channel, after a really long time, I found something that I love doing. And when I started doing it and I was constantly doing it, I was getting these amazing messages from the community like,
Mhm.
your videos are so helpful. Thank you for doing this. And I have got a job by following this video, or it helped me get the role transition. It helped me get the promotion. So these
I saw
motivating.
one comment today when I was researching yesterday or today that somebody said, "Oh, finally the Azure series for video number 13 is here." And he was so excited that now he
Yes,
can watch it. And it's a 16 video series, right?
yes,
And he
yes.
was, I guess,
14 has been published to our pending.
14. Yeah, so
Yes,
he made a comment that, "Oh, thank God the series is there, 14th video is here." And then he was all excited to go ahead and
yeah.
join.
Because when I started this series, there were not a lot of content around Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps, it is a fairly new tool when we compare it with other CI/CD tools like Jenkins or anything else. So Azure DevOps came into existence in around 2019 somewhere. So there is not a lot of material, and the labs on Azure website, it's outdated. So people finding a lot of difficulty in learning Azure DevOps.
I heard
You know,
that they're changing. Microsoft is planning to decommission that and use GitHub more. I don't know if that's true or not.
yeah, it hasn't happened till now. So a
Yeah.
lot of people are still using it and still migrating to Azure DevOps. So we
Hmm.
don't know what's their plan until it actually happens. They could either merge both of these tools together, but it's one and the same thing, because GitHub Action also is a YAML based tool. Azure DevOps is a YAML based
Yeah.
tool. So it's one and the same thing, moreover. But So that's when I started it, because people were finding a lot of difficulty in learning and understanding this particular tool. So I thought maybe I should put something out that is available free of cost and that could help a lot
Right.
of people. So that was the intention behind this mind. And I'm so happy that I'm so glad that people are waiting for each and every video. If I don't publish a video a week, let's say I was traveling from India to Canada, right? During that couple of weeks, I did not publish anything because there were too many things to take care of while traveling. And people were messaging me over LinkedIn, over Discord, Twitter, everywhere that they could possible, even on YouTube comments, that when is the next video coming.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, yes, I made a commitment to everyone, and people are expecting me to publish the video on a regular basis. So whatever happens, even if my video editor is on leave, even if there is some other issue, I should not stop doing it. So that's why I have resumed it. I have resumed it with full passion, with full energy. And even though I was publishing one video every week, I am now publishing two videos per week. So I'll be completing this series next week, like the coming week, and I'll start with a new one after that. Okay, yes. So your question, actually, we diverted from the topic. Your question, what motivated me? So these
Mhm.
messages, these things, like people are waiting for me to publish the video, this motivates me. Plus, as I said, this is something that I enjoy doing.
Mhm.
Facing the camera, I was really, what do I say? I was really not ready to face the camera. When I started my YouTube channel, I started it with just the screen recording. It was a faceless
Mhm.
channel that I ran for entire 1 year. And after 1 year, that's when I faced my fear. I came in front of camera, and now I do every video in front of the camera. Even if it is a hands-on lab of 1 hour, I still keep my camera on all the time. So it helped me as well. It helps other who are following the videos, and it was a win situation for me. So I thought, why don't I keep it going? Plus, there is one more thing. When I started it, I did not start it with any intention. It was just to help the community. It was just to see if it interests me or not. And then I started enjoying it, and I felt the time that I spent in watching TV or watching cricket or anything else, I don't enjoy that time. I am just killing my time doing those things because I have some ample time. Right? But when I do the video publishing, video creation, and whatnot, so I feel like I have achieved something. I felt like my day is productive. Now I can have a good night's sleep because I did something that was not like watching a TV, or I did not kill my time on that. So that's the whole idea. That's the whole intention behind this YouTube journey.
Wow. Just getting excited of all the questions that I'm asking and then the amazing answers that you're giving. I know you for a year, but I did not know the depth of the reasoning and drive behind everything that you're doing. So I'm going to ask another question on this YouTube. There are enough for you to do these and ongoing for many years to come, but do you have a some kind of goal target in your mind that where you want to take it in a year, 3 years, and 5 years from now?
I just want to grow my channel. Obviously, numbers don't matter, but numbers do matter when you're trying to reach to a maximum people, right?
Hmm.
If I publish a video and no one watches it, that my all efforts will go in vain because it's not reaching to the people that it's supposed to reach. So I definitely want to grow, and my goal is to provide videos or the content that is not available easily. That is something that is a lot of people are finding difficulty in getting that free of cost. Obviously, yes, there'll be
Hmm.
Udemy courses, there'll be other premium courses that they could have, but not everyone can afford those courses. If we talk about college students, if we talk about the professional who are in their early stages of career, they don't have a lot of money to spend on taking these courses or getting themselves educated. So my goal is to work for them. My goal is to provide those initial steps, those initial videos and content
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
could help elevate their career, that could help them doing something that they wanted to do, but they don't have a proper guidance, or they don't have the resources to do. So that's my goal, is nothing fancy. I'm not planning to start my own course or no ed tech, nothing like that. It just,
Hmm.
I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I want to keep delivering the best and best videos out there. And I mostly focus on, so what I do when I start a new series, I ask my subscriber or out there on LinkedIn, YouTube, Discord, everywhere, that these are the four topics that I'm planning to work on after this ongoing series. What do you want me to do next?
Hmm.
And based on the votes that I get from the subscriber, I start working on those. The same happened with Azure DevOps, because I knew that Azure DevOps has really a scarcity of resources when it comes to learning and everything. Not everyone likes to read the documentation and implement those steps. People like to watch visuals, and it takes a long lasting impact on the learning journey and everything. And also, as I mentioned, like most of the documents are outdated for Azure DevOps. So that's why. And when I did the poll on LinkedIn, and you would be amazed to see the results. So around 55 to 60% votes were in favor of Azure DevOps. That's when I know, yes, this is something that I should definitely want to create an entire series on. And this series, many of those videos are over an hour long. So
Hmm.
it would be around 10 hours in total if we calculate all 16 videos. But I had a lot of amazing learning experience myself, because I worked on this particular tool around 4 years back, and then I never had a chance to work on it. But then now, because I'm publishing the series, I had to revise all the concepts, I have to
Hmm.
do the hands on everything, and I have to research on everything, because a lot has changed in past 4 years. So yes, it was an amazing learning experience for me as well.
Now, I will add something
Mhm.
here that I learned from Dicky Bush and Cole. They run Ship 30 for 30 and everything in writing, and I learned a lot from them. One other thing that they said that apply in this case to you is you're giving away everything for free, which is amazing. Now, there will be people who would want more access to you, as in directly learning from you. Either, um, for example, they watch all your YouTube videos on Azure, for example, and now they have questions that or a very specific situation that they want to discuss with you. What they suggested, that on those moment, when you have many of those requests, you could create a program where there is a group session, they're watching your videos, doing the exercise, and then have your access 1 hour a week or couple of hour a week as a group to ask you questions. So there will be an X number of cost for that. And then beyond that, if someone want even more, then it could be a one-on-one type sessions or very small type sessions. Now what happens, let's say a person is earning 50,000, I'm just picking a random number, okay, 50,000, and this person can go from 50 to 75 or 100 or whatever, right, in their journey. And they could, by spending X number of dollar to
Mhm.
gain some access to you, they could actually amplify their approach. Anyway, I'm not saying you do that. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that there are people who would want more access to you in whatever way it is. And for you to be able to give that access, because you cannot do that in a scale for 100,000 people, but you could do that for 50 people. You may want to think about those people at some point.
So I really thought about it around an year back. So that's when we started our own community. So we have a Discord community with 2,500 plus members, and we have a weekly call every weekend. Just
Okay.
after this podcast that we are having right now, we have a Discord
Okay.
community
Okay.
call.
Okay.
So this is what, like the first point that you mentioned, people would want to have more access to you in a group call where they could ask question, where they have implemented
Yeah.
something. So yes, we do that every week, and that is free of cost. Plus, in our Discord server, there are dedicated channel for each of the videos or each of the series that we have. And people who are facing their issues, so they provide all the details over there, their code snippet, the issue that they are facing, errors, the steps they have implemented, the documentation or video that they have followed. And initially, I was helping them out.
Mm-hmm.
Grow as a community, I needed more help. So I reached out to everyone and see if we come together as a community and help each other. And the results were amazing. Everyone now, I don't have to reply to each and every message. Everyone in the community are helping each other without expecting anything in return, just with the mindset of we are here to share knowledge, we are here to gain knowledge. It's a win for everyone. So people are helping each other in the community with any issue that they are facing, and it is dedicated to cloud and DevOps. So any issue with any cloud provider or any CI/CD pipeline specific, anything that is cloud and DevOps specific, people are posting their issues over there and others are helping them out. I also try to help them out once in a while. Like I check those messages every day, or if not every day, every alternate day, and I try to answer those whatever I know. And yes, so I'm already doing that. Plus, I started doing one-on-one mentorship session on TopMate, but I thought it was taking a lot of time out of my, what do we call it, the daily routine, because if I'm doing those sessions, I'm not able to work on my videos or the content that I was planning to do. So it was just slowing me down. So that's why I've stopped it temporarily. Initially, when I started, I have a story to share. When I started this TopMate one-on-one session, I was doing it for free, even though I had limited sessions per week, but I was doing it for free. But then
Yeah.
people were taking advantage of it. There was a day when I had three back-to-back sessions and no one showed up. No one even canceled it, and no one showed up. No one even messaged me that I'm gonna be late or I'm not be able to make it. So I feel really disheartened. I put a comment on Twitter and like a tweet on Twitter and
Right.
ask everyone suggestion like how should we handle it. I still want to help the community, but I don't want to be in the situation again where I'm waiting for 1.5 hours and no one showed up. It's just wastage of my time, and the whole intention behind helping the community, it's not working with this approach. So many of my friends, even Nilesh ji suggested me, even if you should be having some paid session, because people,
Mhm.
if they don't respect your money, if they don't respect your time, they would definitely respect the money that they spend.
Money.
So that's when I started charging a nominal fee of $10 from students, $20 from working professional. But again, I did not felt it right to earn, because many of the sessions that I was doing, those peoples are mostly they are struggling in their life.
Right.
They are not being able to make a living out of what they are doing. So it was not felt right to me to charge money from them. So that's when I decided, okay, I'm still gonna charge the money, but then I'll donate every single penny that I've earned from the top mate to an NGO. So there is an NGO. It's a India-based NGO. It's called Pratham.org.
Mhm.
And so whatever I've earned from TopMate, I have donated each and everything to that NGO. They are working to provide free education to underprivileged children in India. So that's what they do, and I really like the cause. And I have donated everything to that till now. And whatever session I'll be doing in the future, I'll still be donating it to them. Plus, because I work for Google, whatever donation I make, and if that NGO is associated with Google, so
Mhm.
they will double the donation payment.
Well,
So whatever donation I made, Google contributed the same amount from their side. So I thought, yes, that money couldn't be put to a better use than this. That's what I did, and that's what I continue doing it.
for that
So yeah,
cause, I will book a session with you.
yeah, so I answered both of your
Yeah.
suggestions. So group one-on-one session, still doing it, and one-on-one session on TopMate, and this is what I meant by that.
So whoever is listening, see how much is offering, utilize that, watch their video, join the community, ask question. And I tell this to everyone, the biggest help that you could do to the community is by asking the right question, because you ask one question, Piyush Bhai will answer, many other people will answer, and it will help many people. Asking the question and asking the right question is the very first and impactful contribution that you can make in a community.
That's true.
All right, awesome. This is so much information here, so much information here for me to grasp, and whoever will be watching, we got to see what you do at Google, what drives you to create these amazing videos, and then on top of that, everything that you're doing for the community and how people can utilize it, right? And then let's go slightly backward. How did you get into Google? I know you have created a video specifically for this. So you already have a video, but I do want to ask you if you can summarize your
Sure.
approach. Number one,
Mhm.
how did you come up with this idea that I want to join Google? And then how did you prepare for it?
Sure. So, first of all, I never came with an idea to join the Google. I never had the courage or the guts to even apply for Google. It happens because it was meant to be, but I started my channel and then I was publishing my videos. I was learning a lot of new tools and technologies while I'm publishing the videos. And I was learning new clouds. I was doing hands on. I was doing certifications and publishing technical blogs as well of whatever I was learning. So that made me visible in over LinkedIn for a good reason, not because I was posting something like follow me for this, follow me for that, but because I was publishing something that could help someone. So it made my presence visible and it put me in front of the hiring managers and the recruiters and everyone. So that's when, out of the blue, one day, Google recruiter reached out to me. I did not apply. As I said, I never had the dare or courage to apply for Google because when we talk about Google, we talk about DSA, coding, and a lot of other things that I'm not really good at. I don't enjoy those things. And I know the basic coding, I know the basic of how to write the code, how to troubleshoot the code, but that's about it. I'm not a hardcore developer and I never enjoyed it. So that's the line that I never chose. So that is the reason why I never applied for Google. But then he reached out to me and told me like these are the roles that are there and if you would be interested in going further with the process. The first question that I asked him, would there be any DSA round? Would there be any coding round? He explained me the process. He said there won't be any DSA round because it is a cloud specific role. It is
Mhm.
not a hardcore development role, so you would not be building applications, but you will be working on troubleshooting services. You'll be working
Mhm.
on helping customers, customer facing role. And there would be a coding round, but it would be mostly around troubleshooting the code where you would be given a snippet of the code and
Yeah.
you have to walk us through the code line by line, dry run it and find any problems in that. That was about it, and that would be in your preferred language of choice. So I thought, okay, I cannot say no to opportunity that comes by itself. So I said, yes, okay, let's go with it and we'll see what happens. So I just went ahead with it without expecting too much or without thinking too much about what would be the outcome. So I just went ahead with it. And then one thing led to another, and I had few interview rounds. So there was one round with the recruiter itself over the
Mhm.
phone, then there was a technical round over the phone, and there were four rounds back to back in a day. So it was like 50 minutes round each, 10 minutes a break in between, and then there was next round. So it was like four rounds back to back.
Wow.
And then after, because it was a holiday season, Christmas, New Year at that time, there was a delay in the hiring process for around a couple of months. After a couple of months, I had one more round. It was with the hiring manager. It was an informal discussion, and he was telling me about the role, the team, and if I would be comfortable in joining that. So they were giving me all the flexibility to ask the question
Mhm.
and any doubts that I could have. So it was more of an interview from my side where I was given opportunity to ask the question, and that was about it. And then recruiter reached out to me. So this is what we can offer you, and we had a lot of negotiation back and forth. But at the end, they released the offer, and that's how I got into Google.
Wow. So the first thing to point out, you did not apply, you was not even thinking about it, but you was creating some buzz in social media. So let's get deeper into that. What kind of buzz and how long it was and what are the specific thing that you were doing at that point?
Yeah. So at that time, if I remember correctly, like I said, I did Azure DevOps series because there was not a lot of content around it. So at that time, GitLab CI/CD was the one thing. So I was working on a client. It was a freelancing project that I got. And in that, they had this specific requirement to use GitLab to automate their entire CI/CD pipeline, including the infrastructure provisioning.
Mhm.
So I thought it's a good opportunity for me to learn. So I learned everything. I implemented that over there for like in a period of 3 to 5 months. And because I thought I just learned it, I don't want to waste the knowledge, and I don't want to just keep the knowledge to myself. I thought of sharing it with everyone. So that's why I created an entire video on GitLab. It was 1 hour plus video, 1 hour 17 minutes something. And I
Mhm.
included each and everything with the help of an entire project. Like everything, like how to use variables, parameters, how to use secrets, everything that you should have in the GitLab. And not just that, I've included animations to explain the concept in a more graphical way, and a
Okay.
lot of other things. When in the interview, they asked me something that you have done that you are proud of. I told them this, why I did that, and how it helped everyone, and why I'm proud of it. And uh, they were really happy listening to it, because Google is about open source community contribution. And when they hear these things that we do about the community to help the community, and whether it's an open source contribution or leading developer groups or user groups or creating technical blogs, videos, something that could help the community in expanding their knowledge set, so they really give importance to those things. So that was a plus point that went into my favor, that helped me in presenting myself in a better way that I could have done without it.
And did recruiter say that what specific content that he found
No, he
reaching out
did
to
not
you?
mention anything like that. No.
Okay. But you had different posts on LinkedIn, you have videos, and you
Yes,
have
that,
okay.
yes, and blogs as well, because I was writing blogs. And the funny thing to know is I was not even working on GCP at that time. I did not have any GCP experience. I was working mostly on AWS and Azure, and that's the only experience I had till then. And I also told them that I never worked with Google Cloud, and he said, you work with AWS and Azure, that's more than enough, because concept will always be the same. It's just the cloud provider have different services, and they'll be doing the same thing with the different services.
And
And
I'm sorry, I was
yeah,
just wanting to add that when you did this side project for a client, you was working full time at another company.
I was working as a contractor. I was
Mhm.
working with Bank of Montreal as a cloud engineer, but it was a contract role.
I see.
So
Okay.
in Canada, I'm not sure if the same in US, but in Canada we have a permanent role and a contract role. In contract role, you get paid hourly, and
Mhm.
you have your own corporation. So I have my own
I see.
corporation, and I can take additional projects on that corporation, right? Because I am working as an independent contractor. I don't have any binding contract with a
Okay.
particular company. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
in
why.
US, if you're working full time, you can still take a side project. It's
Yep.
completely allowed as long as there is no conflict of interest. And then
Yep.
second, if you're not doing that during the office hours and things
Yes.
like
Correct.
that, right?
Correct.
If as long as you ethically managing it,
Yes.
you can do that.
Yeah,
So
I guess it's the same in Canada as well. It just I was not even in the permanent role at that time. I
right.
was doing contracting for a client.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to specify that or add that information is that you there is no excuse to do the side work and then utilize that information to share with, write a technical article of exactly how you have done XYZ.
Yeah.
And that just by doing that, you got your visibility, and then a recruiter reach out to you, and then you were able to use that experience in your interview as well.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
As I've mentioned, YouTube played, and not just YouTube, the blogs that I've written, and I was AWS. I'm AWS community builder, so I publish blogs on their website as well. So all this community efforts that I was putting into whatever I could do from my side,
Mhm.
so that really helped me getting into Google, or even at least getting my resume shortlisted.
Where were you writing all these blogs? Blog.com.
I was writing on medium.com,
Okay.
dev.to. So dev.to, where I write AWS specific blogs, and Medium, and then I guess these two are the main
Okay.
side. I was contributing a little to Stack Overflow as well.
Okay.
And yeah, that's mostly about it. And I was focusing mostly on YouTube videos.
Okay. Medium has been my platform too. I've been
Okay.
writing there for since 2019. I have more than 300 articles.
Oh, that's amazing.
And there was a point where I had 150,000 monthly views, and that's when I decided to join 𝗩𝗑𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗦 that I'm getting traction, and to scale it to the next level, I have to do something more. And I'm blessed that I did that because they gave me a completely different perspective of where I can take it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has been a journey.
That's amazing. That's amazing to know.
All right, I want to ask one last question around your career journey,
Sure.
a very high level view of in last 12 years.
Hmm.
I'm sure the journey has taken many shape, many turns,
Hmm.
and there are probably things that has guided your path.
Hmm.
And so if you have to reflect on it from a point where somebody who is starting their journey,
Hmm.
and giving them an idea that
Yeah.
how you started, how you navigated through this path, and 12 years later,
Hmm.
what's your biggest learning? Maybe one, two, or three, four
Sure.
points.
Mm, on top of my head, my biggest learning would be sometimes you don't have to create goal for yourself. Sometimes you just have to pick a path, do something, and do it constantly. Consistency is the key. Whatever you are doing it. If you are doing something consistently, then you would definitely get the end results. Because let's say my goal would have been, if my goal would have been getting into Google or getting into any big brands,
Hmm.
then maybe I wouldn't have achieved it. But my goal was not that. My goal was to share the knowledge and skills with the community
Hmm.
and do it over a period of time, do it consistently. So that was my goal. But it was not even a goal. It was doing something that I was love doing. But I was doing it for a long time. I'm still doing it. And it helped me get into Google. So goal is
Hmm.
just an end result. Something that you would get when you do something for a period of time. So that's what my suggestion is. Sometimes you don't have to create goal for yourself, and sometimes you just have to, let's say if you want to get into a good company, as a fresher, your goal shouldn't be to get into company. Your goal should be, I'm going to do DSA for next 3 months without any break, or I'm going to learn a new technology, I'm going to learn a new programming language over a period of 6 months or 1 year, and that could help me get into job,
Hmm.
right? So that's what I would suggest. Do something that you can do over a period of time. And I'm sure I have repeated this many times, but this is what I meant by that.
Hmm.
And you will definitely get the end results. Maybe not
100%.
today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe it will take some days, some months, but it will definitely happen.
And one other point is where you start is not where you will end. You will encounter many opportunity as long as you're open for them and working hard toward them, you will
Definitely.
get somewhere. It
Yes,
doesn't
definitely.
have to be where you started. Awesome. This is super exciting. I'm just pumped with all the information that we have discussed in this episode. I want to take it to toward the end, and I think we have covered this, but let's quickly talk about your time management
Mhm.
and goal setting methods.
Okay. When it comes to time management, I try not to sacrifice my family time. I try not to do anything during my office time because
Mhm.
that's where I'm earning my bread and butter. So I wouldn't want to take advantage of it. So I keep those times separate. And after that, I work on creating the content or something that I was planning to do for a long time. So I create a to do list for myself, the task that I want to achieve on
Mhm.
a daily basis, and the task that I would want to achieve on a weekly basis. And I keep sticking to it. Sometimes I have to move the task in between, like I have to carry forward it to the next week, or it usually happens. So that's what I do. And I do follow some creators that really help me with getting better at time management, like Ali Abdal is one of those.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I highly recommend, if anyone is struggling with time management or if they are not productive enough, so they should definitely watch Ali Abdal. He has some amazing productivity tips, time management, and all those things. It really helps me. I've tried a lot of things. I've tried keeping everything on Notion, on ClickUp,
Mhm.
and everything. But at the end, what worked for me was old school notepad, or just I'll show you over here. Over here are
Oh,
my to
wow.
do list. So one is weekly and one is daily. So that's my to do list.
Those two
Those two,
whiteboard,
right?
right?
Yes, this
Wow.
one and this one over here. Yes, these two.
Yeah,
So that's
I will actually show mine. Oops. Oh, I should not have done this. There in the corner, my
yeah, yeah.
whiteboard.
Okay. So that's what worked for me at the end. I had tried a lot of things. I tried doing it over the phone applications, Mac applications and everything. But I guess it doesn't matter if you are using any technology or if you are doing it old school. So whatever worked best for you is the way to go. I
Right.
also have
And
this, I keep this small notepad with me all the time. Yeah. So see, we are doing the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, this definitely worked. One of the other thing that has worked really well for me is the quarterly planning. So I set
Quarterly planning. Okay.
big goals for the quarter. And 3 weeks ago, I had a realization that only 3 weeks left. So it completely changed how my relaxedness to slightly more aggressiveness. But quarterly planning helped me. So I set the goal, that break it, and then do some kind of weekly sessions with myself, like you were saying, right? Weekly goals and then daily goals. So that has been working really well. All right. My last three questions. Let's start with this one. Is there any question that I have not asked you but you want to answer?
I guess we have covered everything. It just,
Mhm.
I would say one thing like about the whole process of getting into Google. So I would like to share one experience. So when I was interviewing for Google, so it's not really easy to get into Google. If even if you get a call, even if your resume gets shortlisted, even then I cannot say the actual number, but there is a high
Mhm.
chance that you would be rejected. So what helped me along that journey, what helped me acing the interview was my previous failures, my previous rejections. So I created a whole video on that about
Mhm.
my experience interviewing with
Yeah,
Amazon
I saw
Canada,
it.
AWS. Yes. So I failed a lot of time during those interviews. So I gave around 11 interviews, 11 different roles, 11 interviews for different roles for a period of 3 to 4 years. And sometimes I cleared all the rounds and I failed in the last round, or sometimes I was not even able to clear the first telephonic interview round. But
Mhm.
after every failure, I created a list of all the questions that were asked, and I did a self realization what I know and what I need to work on. So I actually worked on myself after every interview instead of feeling bad that I was getting rejected every time. So I was not doing that. I did not have time to regret. What I could have done and what I did was to realize my mistake and realize what could have I done better, and I worked on that. So that helped me because interview process for Amazon and Google is almost the same. It is again like in Amazon as well, there was an interview loop or 4 or 5 rounds in a day
Mhm.
back, the same that happened with Google. So it was a rigorous process. It was something that not everyone has faced, and those rejections helped me uh, create the better version of myself, because I got the time to think about, I got the time to work on my skills, to work on myself, and then finally I was able to crack the Google interview. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
That's so powerful advice. People say that they're not getting job, but just working after the interview is more crucial than working before the interview. And I have used the same tactics when I was giving interviews. That every time I finish the interview, the first thing I would do is to brain dump everything that they have asked, and then I will try to write everything that I have answered,
Mhm.
and then anything that I have missed, and how can I improve the answer that I have given in these interviews, and plus reading about the question that I had no idea about.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's what I did, and it really helped me. And it's then when I realized I don't know a lot of things, and I think I should be aware of these things. These are some of the basics. And sometimes it happens when you are in front of interviewer and they ask you a simple plain question, you just freeze at that moment. Even if you know the answer, even if you have worked on it, you sometimes don't have a lot of confidence answering those freely. It's when your previous interview experience itself,
Mhm.
when you practice it a lot, that's what helps over there.
You know what worked for me, and this was a common phenomena, that after 3 to 5 interview, my voice is flowing. Like it's
Correct.
fluid.
That's
But first three interview, definitely, just like
yes.
what you're saying, that I know the answer, but I cannot deliver it, or even if I'm trying to answer it, I do not have the confidence in my voice.
Yep, correct. That happened a lot of
That's
times. Yeah. Okay, it's just nothing. It's just another interview. So
yeah.
after you have passed that threshold of 3 to 5 interviews, after that you started taking interview as a discussion rather than an interview.
Yes.
It will
Yeah.
become more of a discussion, like what we are doing now,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
100%.
yeah, so that's what happens.
So, is there any question for me?
I had a lot of question for you, and thank you for giving out time a couple of months back when we discussed a lot of things, the same thing about time management and everything.
Uh-huh.
So I believe everyone who's doing anything apart from their 9 to 5 job is struggling with time management, with productivity and lot. And you really helped me with a lot of my questions out. The main advice that you gave me was outsource the thing that is
Mhm.
eating up most of your time, and it's not really helping, you are not enjoying it, all those things. And so you already answered all those questions, and thank you for doing that.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. Last question for today's session. Any advice to audience? My audience is people who do not have their first job, or who have the first job in 3 to 5 year experience and trying to think what next for them. So those are the two people that I cater for.
Mhm. So I would say if you are something who don't have the first job, beginner or the college graduates, I would say if you have a lot of time, like if you are still in college, you have a lot of time. So experiment out different things while you still have the time. Try to do your own hands-on coding, front end, back end, database, security, cloud, DevOps, whatever you think is there in the market or whatever you think will sustain in the market for a long time, and see what you enjoy the most. So at the end of the day, you will be able to deliver your 100% on something that you enjoy the most, and not something that you are doing just to get a job. So while you're still in the college, do those experiments and play around and see what you enjoy the most, and then give your 100% on that thing.
Hmm.
So that would take you a long way. And the other advice for a 3 to 5 years of experience is try to utilize your time in the things that matters, that helps you become productive or get something out of it. People try to create a lot of fear that Devin is here, software engineers might lose their job. So don't get tensed about it. Don't involve yourself in those conversations on, just try to see, even if creating an AI bot, whatever it is, you still have to write the code. And the company that is promoting their first AI engineer, they are still hiring software engineers. So this is just a marketing gimmick, and this is not something to be afraid of. It's just another innovation. It's just another disruptive innovation, and we should not be afraid of. We should take advantage of it. How we can use it to make our life easier. How we can use it to make ourselves more productive than we were before. Try to focus on the things that matters to you, and try to keep yourself away from these discussions, these things that really does not help anyone. That's the only advice that I would have.
And every new technology, while it creates disruption, it also creates some new opportunity. And if you are early in the wagon one, then you can get those opportunity compared to somebody who's sitting on the sideline and worrying.
That's true. And there was a recent comment on my YouTube channel. I still have to answer that. So it was like, Devin is here. We did take DevOps job. So my answer to that would be, if you are doing something that is repetitive, that does not require a lot of logical thinking, or that is solely depend on tool and technology and nothing that you are putting from your side, then yes, it might replace your job. But if you are doing something And if you can move from, let's say you are proficient in one technology, so even if that technology get obsolete, you still have the background of it. You have know how it works end to end. You can still move to another technology if that becomes
Mhm.
obsolete, right? So that should not stop you from where you want to be. But if you are doing something, doing, let's say, all the repetitive works, we have seen like the jobs that have become obsolete. Let's say voiceovers or transcribing jobs, those things that AI can easily do. So try to, this is the high time that we think about upskilling ourselves and prepare ourselves for the future, because if we are not upskilling ourselves, someone somewhere is doing that, and that person could take your job, and that person is something, yes, you should be worried about, not from the AI or any other tool in the market.
Awesome.
So yeah,
This was one of the best conversation that I had. So thank you so much, PewDiePie, for coming as a guest
thank
on this podcast.
thank you, Vinodji. I really enjoyed each and every question, and I wish we had more time, but we tried to cover each and everything that we wanted to. So
Mhm.
thank you so much, and I really appreciate it.